Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plan B Success. Today, we're going to focus on the art of selling. Sales. How do you end up being a good salesperson? What is selling all about, and why is it so much abhorred by whoever is being sold to? And how can you overcome that and yet make a sale? That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, I'd like to tell you a story. You know I love telling stories. So I'd like to go back to one of, again, the trickster Naziruddin Hoja's stories. So once he ended up in the market and he went to a clothes store to buy a pair of trousers. He chose a pair, but just before he paid for them, he told the seller that he changed his mind and wanted to buy a robe instead. Well, the salesman picked up the robe and gave it to him and took the pair of trousers from him. As soon as he got the robe, Naziruddin picked up the robe and started walking away, but the seller stopped him. "Hoja, you haven't paid for the robe," he said. "Well, I returned the pair of trousers and bought the robe instead," Naziruddin said. "But you hadn't paid for the trousers either," remarked the seller. Hoja really got mad and started shouting at him. "You're a strange man. You expect me to pay for a pair of trousers I didn't buy?" Well, in this case, we are hearing about the trickster who was a buyer. But that's one of the reasons why selling is abhorred by a lot of people. They look at it as something that's not to be done. People look at being sold to as something where somebody's coming to trick them. And that's across the world. That's how sales is abhorred. Yet, sales has to happen in order to make sure that a business is progressing. Whether you're selling products or services, it's just the basic nature that we all sell something or the other. Whether you're actually in the sales profession or not, we're all selling something. Whether to your partner, to your children, to your family, friends, whoever, you're always in a negotiation mode. You're always in a convincing mode. You're always in a sales mode. That's how you get people to do what you want them to do. That's how you get them to listen to you and do exactly how you expect of them. So unconsciously or consciously, you're always selling. Again, why are most people bad at selling? Well, when most people think of salesperson, like I said, they imagine a spammy telemarketer or a used car salesman. Immediately the defense guards go up saying, "Hey, this guy is out to cheat me." The result is that many business people, from small business owners to large enterprises, or even well-funded entrepreneurs, never learn how to properly sell their products and services. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're in a business, or even in a profession of selling, you need to learn how to sell. Number one is to be enthusiastic about what you're selling. You need to believe in it. You need to believe in it before you sell it to somebody else, because only when you're convinced can you be the best at convincing someone else. It's not the same as being cheerful or smiling a lot. That's not enthusiasm. That kind of comes across as being disingenuous. So don't confuse that for being enthusiastic. Enthusiasm exudes confidence and attracts attention. Ensures that people look at you and know that they can trust you. Ensures that the act of selling and buying is enjoyable. So that's what you got to target by being a natural and being enthusiastic. You don't have to speak a certain way. You don't have to act a certain way. You just got to be your natural self and let your confidence do the talking. Next, you also need to know what the questions of the prospective buyer are. As they keep asking questions, you need to be able to answer those questions confidently. And more often than not, if you can meet those objections with your own questions, contradictory questions, that would be great in terms of convincing them to think from your end. So that's the way to ensure that they get their answer, but they also start thinking as to what you said, and how it serves their purpose. Find out what your prospect really wants and help them get it. That's a true sale, not looking at the product or service that you have and trying to push it to the prospect to buy. That's where the defense walls go up. But if you find out what your prospect really, really wants, and then convince them that what you have is what they really need in order to solve their problem, then that's a done sale. Don't focus on the issue and don't force the issue. Look at what do they want and what are they willing to pay for it, and then find it and find a way of looking at your product or service from that angle, and then showing them, convincing them that yes, what you have will solve their problem. And then that's how you make a sale. And when you haven't convinced somebody in the first instant, don't give up. Always follow up. Whether it seems hopeless or not, it's important to follow up in order to close a sale. Don't expect a sale to happen the very first time you talk to somebody, you pick up the phone or talk in person. Ensure that you're always following up even if the answer is going to be a no, so that at least you know that you've done your complete circle. You've done your full job in terms of taking it from prospecting all the way to closing the sale, whether positively or negatively. And as far as possible, absolutely be honest with what you're trying to do. You need to believe in your product. You need to believe in your service. Ask yourself the question, are you going to buy what you're selling? You want to be honest. And if you are, if you believe in it, then nothing can stop you from being the best salesperson out there, because you will exude confidence because you're convinced that what you have to offer is a good buy. And you're going to be honest and not make stories up in order to sell your product or service. Then as you gain experience, learn to identify your buyer personas. Who's your ideal buyer? What kind of issues or problems do they have that they're looking to solve? And then get good at this process of prospecting and selling so that you can use a measurable and repeatable sales process again and again and continue to hone your skills. Whatever product or service that you're selling, make sure you know it inside out, so that no matter what question is thrown at you, you should be able to answer it. Unless you don't understand your product or service thoroughly, there's no way you're going to convince somebody else to buy it. And always keep tabs of your leads, prospects on one side and your clients on the other. And it's not just about following up when you're trying to make a sale, but even after you've done a sale, make sure you follow up. It'll hold you in good stead. Your clients will remember you for who you are as a person, and the next time they have some need, they will think of you. They'll look to you. And you don't have to go through a whole sales cycle the next time. They will buy from you because they trust you. That's how you find your shortcuts and your hacks in terms of being a good salesperson. And always practice active listening. It's not about you telling them how good your product or service is. Listen to your prospective customers. Listen to what they're saying so that you can catch what their needs are. Listen to them so that you understand what their needs are, and then think through your own product and service and see how you can position that to be the solution for their problems. Those are the key aspects of being a really good salesperson and landing sales, at the same time being able to turn around and be a friend, a benefactor, a trusted guide for your customers. At the end of the day, that's what you want to become. Hey, I hope you liked that episode. Do check out my website, rajivmudumba.com. And by the way, do check out Top Podcast Mastery Program. That's out there on the website. And if you're interested in podcasting, if you're interested in creating a brand image for who you are and what you have to offer, definitely check that course out. I'm sure it's going to provide you immense value, and it'll cut short your journey of researching podcasts by the weeks into a couple of hours to get started and moving on it. Thank you very much.